Welcome to Megan's weekly Q&A session. This week we'll be looking at fines. Has the ICO handed out any fines since the GDPR came into force?
This week the ICO have actually made their first ever official fine. They have issued a fine of £275,000 to a pharmacy based in London. The reason that they have done this is because the pharmacy has basically neglected the details and documentation of up to 500,000 customers. The information within these documentation was classed as special category data, as it involved details of their care home care, their medical conditions, what kind of medication they're on, different information about where they're living, contact information. Unfortunately, the circumstances around it were quite bad. They were found to be in 47 different crates, actually out in an outdoors courtyard, and they were severely damaged by the weather and so on, as the crates weren't actually sealed. As an ex-manager of a pharmacy myself, I know how difficult it is to keep on top of information, and quite often pharmacies are restricted in size and storage places, so that's why it's always a good idea to look at storing it maybe in an archiving facility outside that, because ultimately look at what the consequences could be. This information needs to be treated very carefully, so they have fined them at £275,000. The ICO have actually published several different intentions to fine companies, but it's not quite come to fruition yet. But across the EU, certainly there has been many fines actually issued officially.
What are the fines for GDPR non-compliance?
So on the lower category, there is a fine of 2% or up to 10 million euros, or whatever is greatest of their global annual turnover. And on the more severe bracket, it's 4% or up to 20 million euros, or whatever's highest. The ICO or the supervisory authority won't outright just fine a company 10 million euros or 20 million euros. They will look into the accounts and the income and the profits of a business, and they will then fine you what they find that it's going to suit. They're not there to put you out of business, but they will put a fine in place that is going to sting.
Why should businesses adhere to the GDPR?
Well, for basically my last 2 points, because the fines can be quite catastrophic for a company. As I said, these supervisory authorities aren't out to shut businesses down. They're out to basically teach them a lesson, make sure that they're complying with the regulation. It is in place to be complied with, and if businesses don't comply with it, ultimately they're going to face fines, but also at the same time massive reputational damage and loss of customers.
Thank you, Megan.